charge of the
Thank
presentation.
you. Good afternoon. I told your president, Jim Amor, who doesn't ordinarily introduce himself, that I was highly opposed to all the times that someone comes up here and they'll say, "Hey, Dave, come over here." Today he would have said, "Hey, Kenny, get up here." I would like to introduce you to our speaker this afternoon, Ken Vexler, a member in good standing of our club. Ken's employment background included being an electrician and an electrical engineer and technician at Newark Air Force Base. At Denison University in Greenville, Ken is a tech assistant in the physics department. Within our Licking County Computer Society, Ken Vexler is co-chair of the Linux Help Desk and has been group leader of our Build Your Own Computer projects. And at the close of the presentation today, Ken will probably remind you of upcoming plans and dates for that Build Your Own Computer. And he will direct the rest of you to the Licking County Computer Society web board. It has a projected breakdown of costs with approximate prices. And he has posted these things for your reference. Ken, would you come and give us your secret presentation for June 22?
Sure, love to. I made a big secret of it because in about 5 minutes you guys would go out and figure out what I was doing, and then you shoot holes in me because you know more than I do. But it's uses for your old smartphone. You know, we've been taught to recycle these phones and stuff, but now these new smartphones, you kind of might want to hang on to them if you want to play with something. First off, if you've got an old smartphone around and you keep it charged up, if you've got a wireless router in your home, if you keep it charged up, 911 will work. So in places where there's high crime, you might hide your phone in a place in your house where you run to hide if you hear somebody breaking in, if you happen to have a safe closet or something like that. If you hide that phone in there, you don't have to run around and find your phone before you go into your safe place. And while you're in there, you can dial 911. Or if you have a phone or two laying around the house by the front door, say, and somebody's trying to get in the front door and you go see what's going on, you can grab that phone and dial 911. You don't need a phone plan. They will work. By law, the phone has to be able to dial the tower and get 911 service. So that's a good thing about it. When your phone comes off the Verizon plan or AT&T or whatever, your smartphone still has a lot of functionality. The only thing about that you lose is the commercial phone service. It'll still attach to a Wi-Fi router. So if you have a Wi-Fi router in your house and you've got an old cell phone, old smartphone, you can put Skype on it or Google Hangouts and make phone calls to other people. If you paid for the service, you can call other phones. If you're not paying, you can still Skype to other Skype members that are online at the time. So just some of the things that you can do. You can take that smartphone and go to McDonald's or wherever there's a wireless hotspot, Panera Bread or something, and you can sit there with Skype, and if you've got the $36 a year paid Skype service, you can call any phone in the U.S. You could use the phone to browse the web if you needed to look up something right away. I believe the GPS still works and the maps will still work. So that's just some of the things you can do without any Jim.
You can also take pictures. Like you said, if you're, someone's at your door or whatever, you can take a picture of them.
There's the picture mine's taking right now. That pink thing right up on top of the cabinet is my wife's smartphone. Just came off of paid service, paid subscription. She wanted a new one. So it's a little slow because it's having to deal with 2 monitors down here and everything else. Let me move out in here and see how long it takes for me to get pictures. What was that? 3:13 or so. So it's pretty laggy. At home on my phone, I've got it set up to look at my hummingbird feeder. And while I'm computing, I've got a little square set up in my monitor, and I watch the hummingbirds. And it's real time, real speed. Our poor computer in here is having a hard time keeping up with what's going on. But Dave first.
Regarding Skype, is the reason you have to pay the $36 per year fee is because you're using a smartphone instead of...
No.
It doesn't work like that. If you're calling computer to computer in the U.S., you can do that for free.
That's correct. So if I'm sitting at home with a computer and Skype, and I'm connected to the World Wide Web, I can, if I've got the paid service, call a phone on my Skype.
Yeah.
But it is free Skype to Skype. You don't have to have the paid service for that.
Right.
So is that your point then?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Bob?
Okay, one of the Google apps that they have is for Magic Jack, where you can actually, or it's called Voice.
Voice. Yeah.
But you can actually make free phone calls there.
Talk or voice, one of those.
Yeah, and it's totally free. The only thing is you can't make a conference call, like, 2 or 3 callers at the same time, or a conference call any place in the United States or Canada is good to go.
Yep.
And there's no charge on it.
Okay, so that would probably work on Wi-Fi.
Right. That's
So-
I use it on mine sometimes on my
Yeah.
iPad.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we have the live service there. Let me get back to my document before we do much else. I'll post this on the internet or on our web forum when I get home tonight. But Computer World has an article, 18 great uses. They mentioned the 911. You can use it for a remote control on your TV. There are apps that you can do that. What else? A security camera, which is kind of what we've got set up here. Your games will still work. It's just plain old tech toy for geeky people, which there may be 1 or 2 here. Portable MP3 player. You can put your music on there and go take a walk and throw your earbuds in, and it's just going to play just like a champ. Alarm clock or clock. I mean, you can set it in something there at the kitchen, and you've got a nice digital clock right there in front of you. You can set alarms. You can keep your recipes in it as a recipe book. It's a small phone is not quite so minimal, but if you're getting into the bigger tablets, you can do these same sorts of things on your Wi-Fi. So a lot of these things. Appointment calendar. You can even set up a wireless mouse and use your phone for the wireless mouse. So there are apps out there for anything you can think of, pretty much. Android Authority has an article for 10 uses on the Android. You can use it for your DSLR cameras. Some of the cameras will allow you to attach and take sequences of pictures so that you could watch your flower grow, or you could take HDR photos, which is a series of different exposures. Then you stack those up and get a beautiful exposure. So you just set it down and use your phone to take the pictures, and there's no vibration and all that. What else? GPS home automation. What else? Tech Radar. Tech Radar says you can use it to replace AirPlay, which is an Apple product, I believe. I don't know anything about it other than the name, but it seemed to be a fair-sized article about that. And I also included the search pattern that I used to get the list. The list is quite large. Where is it? Oh, yeah. If you click that link, it'll take you to my Google search that I did to come up with these articles. Yes, ma'am?
My son said his old phone was dead. So if he claims it's dead, does that mean it couldn't be used for any of these things?
It depends. We'd have to look at it.
What kind of dead, right?
Yeah, if it'll charge up and actually turn on, it may be able to do all these things.
If it'll charge up and turn on,
Yeah.
it may be able to.
Yeah, if he thinks it's dead because he just got a new one and the service is no longer to that phone, the other functions may still work.
If he dropped it, it might not.
Yeah. So how dead is it? All right. Last but not least, they make great flashlights. I don't know if you've ever been walking around the house at night, but you can hold the camera button down and it's a pretty good flashlight.
There's a flashlight app too.
Yeah, oh yeah, there it is. Yep. All right, so today I'm showing you in the other picture I showed you how it can be a security camera or monitor. There's a couple ways to go on this. If you go with the free app, you can just monitor it in your TV or your computer as a web page. And if you're willing to sort it out, you can actually save video off of your web page. If you're looking at a bird bath or something like that, you could save it. On the free version, you can't trigger it. You just start a loop and it saves. But if you're willing to pay for the app, which is, I believe, $2.99, we'll get to the price later, but one of the apps is $2.99, the other is $3.99. If you have Tasker as an app, and if you have IP Cam as an app, you can set events so that an action would happen. If something in the frame, something happens in the picture viewing area, if you set a motion trigger, it would then start to record and record for, say, 5 minutes or whatever you tell it you want it to do. So that, like a hummingbird feeder, if it sees motion, you might want it to run for 2 minutes and make a video of that. And then shut off, because hummingbirds, they just come in and then they're gone. But you could capture that. Or if you wanted to use it for an outside security camera, you could tell it to, if there's motion in that frame, text my cell phone, my other cell phone that's got the service hooked up. And you can tell it, you can predetermine what it would tell you. You might say, there's an intruder in the backyard, or there's motion in the backyard, or something like that. David?
Do you know whether this could actually be linked up with a security service?
I don't know that. I don't. Okay, so let's move on a little bit here. I'm going to go through the technical part of it, but don't try to remember. You go to Google Play Apps and you look for IP Webcam by this Pavel Klobovich, I guess it is. And the free version is a wireless internet camera, and you can record videos or take snapshots. I could do that from right here, right now. We may look at that in a minute. What you do need is your wireless router in your home. This camera connects through the wireless router, and it becomes a web server, so that the camera actually serves this to your network, and anybody then can connect to the page. This address is just an example, but in the window of the camera, when you set up and begin to use the page, it tells you what the address is, and you just point your browser to whatever it tells you to. In this case, it would have been here. And it will give you a page with your picture on it and all the options that you have.
What does that mean, point it to the browser?
Well, this, instead of typing in google.com and going to Google, you type in this 192.168.22:8080 in this particular setup. And that's an actual web address, internet address, and your browser knows what to do with it.
I just wanted to know what that term meant, point it to it.
Yeah, I might have worded that different.
That is an internal address in your computer. 192.168 is on your computer.
Yes, a computer. It's on the other end. Yeah.
It has to be on your network.
Yeah, this is actually the camera phone address. Server. It's the server for the camera phone.
Okay.
And then I put an enter button there because the instructions require you to use enter, whatever. Okay, so. Oh, there are two buttons. Once you start the application, let me flip over. No, it doesn't show on that screen. But anyway, there are two buttons that show up on your little camera screen. One of them is how do I connect? And if you tap that, it gives you that address information. The other button is actions, and it lets you turn it off or do a couple of other things, but the most important part is turn it off. All right, so we can't see this very well. I'm going to bring up the internet page, but this is the initial screen. What we're looking at now is actually the screen that my pink phone up there is serving us. So you can see the time has changed to 15:20 something. So this is updating along the way, and if there was major movement, we'd notice that. But up here is a menu bar, home, brings this, and it lets you select no video or flash video, browser video. So different things. Also, if your phone has an audio or a microphone in it, you can record that along with the video. So if that was important, you could. Down below the display is your recorder control. You could put a file name in here, click that button, and it does what's called a circular record, and you can set it. I've got this set for 10 minutes, so every 10 minutes it loops back over the same area in the memory. So it's like it tapes for 10 minutes and then it jumps back to the beginning of the tape and takes another 10 minutes. And that keeps from eating up your entire memory card. So you can set this for 30 minutes, several more settings. Yeah, you can go up to 2 hours. So you can tell it to record for 2 hours and then loop over. And that gets it a chance to catch it. Mary, you had a question?
Oh, I know. I don't know enough about the subject to ask you good questions. When you said you could put a file name in there.
Yes.
Oh, for instance, I might put in what, question mark, just for instance.
You might type the word meeting in there if we were recording this.
Okay.
And then as it goes along, if you come across an important 10 minutes, you tell it stop, and it gives you, and then it saves that file that you just made as meeting, and you can play that 10 minutes back.
Thank you.
David?
So if you were using this, let's say to record security-related motion,
Yes.
you'd want to keep in mind the length of your recorder setting, because you could overwrite something you want to save, and you lost it then.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. That's what you get for free.
In that case, if you had a large memory in the phone, you can use record manual, and it will just keep recording until it reaches a preset limit. I think it's 150 megabytes. When it reaches that low level of memory remaining, it would shut off and preserve all that. It would just quit. So the other thing is, if you get the paid versions, you can have it sent to your computer, and you can save it that way. And so I think I did a 10-minute recording in my car as I drove, and it was about 135 megabytes, I think. So it's not a large memory hog.
How much memory do these phones normally, these devices that would be using on Android, the older Android devices, how much memory would they typically have built in?
I think 16 was fairly common. 32 is in some. The high end, I think 64 in the older phones was about the limit. I think the newer ones, you're talking 128 and higher. I don't know.
The older ones, typically, can you add a larger memory card to them? Or?
No. This only sends to the built-in memory. It doesn't send to the card. Yeah. So the best option then is to get the paid versions and do some finagling around and just suck it off as it comes out. And then you're not using the camera at all, or the phone memory. So you can do these things, or down here, while it's displaying, if you see something curious happening, you can take a photo and you can save it to storage, or you can take a focused photo and save it to storage. And what that does for you is, if it's staring at a hummingbird feeder and the hummingbird happens to be right up close and want to grab that shot, you can punch the button and it'll take that snapshot and save it for you. Or if somebody's moving around and they are not at the focal point, you can take a focused photo and then save it. So it actually focuses real quick and takes a shot. It's pretty quick. This task or events control, that's the one that takes the paid version of software. You set predetermined events. If this happens, then do this. That's the kind of situation this programming is. It's if-then. For an action, do something else. So there are several YouTube movies that tell you how to use this, and it's pretty interesting. Down below, you've got a zoom slider, so you can grab that. Oh no, let's take a look. Up here, so we can kind of see how many people are in the frame. Motions are fairly jerky, but if I zoom, let's see if that worked. Yeah, it's gonna. So the zoom actually works in real time.
Wow, Bob. I think we need a new projector.
Well, that's part of it. And this poor computer down here is trying to run 2 video outputs, plus receive a video in and transfer it. And so this computer is really cranking. Okay. You can change the streaming quality. If I did that, it would be easier on the computer. Exposure compensation. These are all photo or video details. There are sensor graphs. And you could, with the paid version, if you look right here, if I had, in my paid version, if I had a reaction, if I had an if action of temperature above 90, then I could tell it if I reach 90, send me a text telling me my greenhouse is boiling. Or if you had it in an outside room that had water pipes in it, you could set this, if it goes below 35, my tape isn't working on my pipes or something. So there are things that you could find useful there. These are motion related, so the top ones are all motion. This next one above the orange block is for light sensing. So if you had it in a shed and had it sense light comes on, notify me because somebody's in my shed, that might be useful. Or a light goes out and it's my growing light for my plants. I need to know that the light went out. Let's see, what do we do here? That's red. Oh, it's detecting motion.
Now, what's detecting the temperature?
The phone itself. It's got a temperature device inside the phone.
So if our wireless router will receive from the shed, we could put your phone in the shed?
If we could keep the phone charged. Yeah.
Bob, that was your head, I think, that made that little movement there. 'Cause you're in the zoom part of the picture, so every time you move your head.
Oh, yeah, I'm zoomed in. Anyway, fun stuff.
It's you.
On the advanced settings, let's see what's there. Oh, yeah. This is the advanced settings. You can change the night vision gain so that it sees better basically at night, the exposure time or whatever, and different things here. So you can also set up your video archive, video chat drivers. There's many other things, but this just kind of is a warm-up to what we can do with this. So $399 for the Pro version of the camera operation. Now, if you're not going to set up triggers and such, I would just get the free one, which is basically what we've done here, and it lets you watch a bird feeder or look out the back door at the backyard if you want to monitor that for some reason. Sometimes I point mine at the front driveway because when I'm at my computer, I can't see the driveway area. And if I'm waiting for a delivery or somebody's coming over and I want to make sure I can get to the door in time, I've got my camera sitting up here and it's staring out there, and I'm working over here, and if there's somebody moving around the driveway, I see it right away, and I get up and I go to the door. So, David.
Are those fees monthly fees, $3.99?
No, that's a one-time deal.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so
It's
it's,
like you meant for a month.
no, basically it's nothing. I mean, it's a cup of coffee and a donut, right?
You're paying for an app.
Yes, you're buying the app for that phone. And then $2.99 will let you trigger events like it to tell it to email you for some reason. Let's see. Oh, that's just the things we went through, the graphing and the night vision, etc. So, to view it outside of your home, which I did while I was on vacation last week, I set it up in the kitchen, pointing at the back door, and I have a monitoring system that tells me if the garage door goes up or if the small garage door opens, and it emails me. But every day at 1:12, just an odd time I pick, my system resets itself to make sure that it's connected to the internet and that all systems are go. My computer actually reboots and restarts this monitoring program. When it does that, it sends me an email saying the door's up. Well, I know it's not up. But with my camera set up, I could see that the door was not up. So it's insurance. Or if a door had gone up, I could, and I was near a place to get internet access, I could look on my computer and see who was in the garage or what's in the garage, you know. So it did come in handy, and you could, so if you've got a home router, you have to do what's called port forwarding. And you go in, there's a page, I didn't go into detail because everybody's router, well, Netgear is different than Linksys, is different than somebody else. So on mine, under gaming and applications, I go in right here and I put in those addresses that we were looking at, 192.168.0.28 is what we're at right now. I would put that right there, and over here I would give it a port extension, and then I would enable it, and it would let me from anywhere in the world or anybody else that knew the specific numbers to use to actually pull this off. I could be sitting at Panera, I could be sitting right here. If that was at home, I could go to that camera and look at what it was looking at, what it was staring at. So if you have a dog and it's in one of the little crates, you can have your camera watch that all day long while you're at work or away, and you can monitor the dog and see that it's not gnawing its leg off or, you know, whatever. But you can do things with stuff with it, right? I'm always doing stuff.
But it doesn't show cats?
No, this is not a cat cam. Could be. My wife is so glad to get rid of that camera. She bought the pink case for it because it was cute and it's easy to see. Well, she sits on the couch for 3 or 4 hours a night watching her TV stuff. Now, I've got my computer, which is important to work. But she's sitting there playing these word games with my daughter and that. And the big joke was, which we don't get to say anymore, honey, what are you doing with your pink thing over there? So, I catch a lot of hell at night.
We do have this all recorded.
That's okay. That's
We had the picnic next month.
all right. So this is just how I set it up. Now, the one other thing you need to know if you're going to get it from outside your home, the home side of your router, the one that's coming into your house and connecting to your computers, whether it's wireless or on the wire, probably uses a 192.168. It could use a 1010 or a 172. It probably, in all likelihood, uses 192.168. But the other side of your router, literally the other side, the cord that goes to your ISP provider, Roadrunner, Windstream, whoever, that single cable going out has a different address. And it can be anything. And it changes once in a while. So what you have to do is go to what's my IP org, and they'll tell you what that address is. Because they see it when you go to their site. And they just echo it back to you. So mine at home this morning was this address. So when I'm out about in the world and I want to use that pink camera right now today, this is the address I would go to. And anybody in here could, well, if anybody, has anybody got their computer hooked up, wired up? No. Oh, yeah. I don't know how it will do. It may crash because the phone is only able to serve a limited number of people or places. But if Bob wants to go to 192.168.0.28 colon.
Start up again.
No, it's 198, it's 192, isn't it?
Yeah, 192.168.0.28. There?
192.168.0.28.
Colon. 6. 62833.
5 numbers.
Yeah, try that, you'll hit enter, and it may crash or it may go, I don't know.
It's got your screen, doesn't it?
May go up in smoke.
It'll take it a minute to serve it, probably.
That hasn't popped up yet.
Yeah, it takes 1 to
Well,
2.
it shows up IP webcam.
Yeah, and it shows.
Oh, okay, let me
Your previous
see
screen.
what you did yet. Yeah, okay, so now if you click browse, I'm sorry, browser.
When rendering.
Browser in here.
Yeah. It'll take a minute. It looks like he's going to get in and he'll see the same picture that we are. Now, if Chuck goes,
He's going.
the third person coming in, Meg, I don't know what the limit will be, but that little phone's only made to serve 1 or 2 addresses, so. Anyway, okay, so really, that's about it. Have fun with it. Talk the neighbors and relatives out of their old smartphones. Don't let them recycle them. These things are a gold mine. These are fun. David?
Yeah, for those of us who don't have an old Android device, we could probably find some on eBay, I imagine.
Well, yeah, if the word isn't out, once this word gets out, the price is going up.
Well, when we do our recycle now, we'll just have a bin for Androids.
Yeah. Well, it works for iPhones too. So, if it's got a bigger screen, it'll probably work for it. I'm gonna get all my cousins up. Hey, you got an old phone laying around? I kind of need one for just dinking around. I'm gonna have them all over my house. All right. I do know I want to set one up on the refrigerator because somebody's eating that last piece of pizza.
That's not you?
It's not me.
And how many kids do you have in your house?
I've been told it's the mice, but I think it's Sue.
If you had a cat, that wouldn't happen.
She like cold pizza.
Yeah. So I'm going to post this on the web. You can click the links in it and stuff like that. If you're interested, you'll be able to kind of crawl through it. And if you need help, just email me or call me. John?
Just to share another use for the old phone, which I didn't realize until just recently. Our son took the old phone, which does everything but telephone. My grandson has it because it will still do Netflix.
Yep.
And so he can, whenever he has a Wi-Fi connection, we can put a Netflix video on for watching.
Yeah. Anything that phone did before it went off service, it'll probably do, except make phone calls through Verizon or through AT&T. You can do it other ways. Okay.
Was there anything, Mr. Ken Mixler, was there anything else you wanted to remind them about the build your own computer that hasn't been said?
I don't know. I have a ball doing it. The way we kind of did it last year was, as a group, we would go from one computer to the next computer around the room doing the same task. And each person got to do their own part of it. Mary would do her own power supply installation, but we would all watch and catch any missed moves or extra instructions. And then when we went to the next one, the same person wasn't doing it, so there might be something else that comes up and gets mentioned, and it was quite a good learning experience. Ira?
Yeah, when I examined that there,
Yeah.
say if you had Avast on there as an antivirus on that, would you lose it?
Don't know.
Would it still be there?
Oh, I would think it would still work.
So have internet access.
Yeah, and you can still get your email through the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
In their build their own computer program,
Yes.
do each one of them have to go out and purchase an anti-static bracelet?
No, we provide the bracelets and the tools, so all you have to do basically is come in and just be here and we give a little talk, kind of tell you what to watch out for, what not to do, what we will do, and then we just start in. You did it last year, Mary.
Yeah, I've just been the devil's advocate.
I know.
I wanted you to, the next question was going to be, do I have to go purchase the tools?
Yeah, no. Even though I listed the very cheapest build that we can do, there are options. You can add more hard drives or bigger hard drives. You can add more memory if you want to. I'm flexible on that. It's just that if you're going to do anything other than what I've listed, we'll talk it over at the one meeting we have prior to the build and discuss whether it's a good idea, bad idea, and if you're going to do it, do we need to prepare anything else ahead. So by the time we get ready to do the build, we know what we're going to build, and questions should be answered by that time. And frankly, if you're just interested in seeing the process, come on down on the build days and you can watch over our shoulders. I don't have any problem with that.
What OS do you put on?
Well, that's up to you. We can put on, you can purchase Windows 7 or 8 or both. We're happy to put Linux on, any Linux you want to. What I recommend, and I know it scares, I guess, anyway, what I recommend, and there are others who agree with me, is put a Linux on as the main system. Inside of that, we will build you virtual machines, and you can put 7 or 8 inside of that, or XP if you like. We have, one of our ladies has Windows 7 and XP both inside of Ubuntu, and she's reasonably happy with that. She had some applications in XP that she wanted to keep, and she had some that required Windows 7. And so, and frankly, I think several of us have learned that Ubuntu is just as easy to use as Windows, and it's $100 cheaper. There's no charge for the Linux. Each of the Windows packages is about $100 each.
That's lucky, because I couldn't find it for that cheap, but it's good that you did. So we can.
But when they come to that meeting on July whatever, 25th, they'll be able to ask their super detailed questions before they go shopping.
Right.
They can also ask questions when they get the email about build, because they can ask beforehand, but we need to have them sign up, because if we have 6 or 7 or so people already signed up, and you come to that meeting and you say, I think I want to do it, we'll say, well, you'll have to wait till the next time, because we got more than we can handle.
So I think we ought to close up the meeting so some of us can get on to other functions if there's no more questions.
Okay, good job.